conclusion or assumption that he was not or is not qualified to contest the 2020 parliamentary election, pending a final decision by the Superior Court, is only prejudicial of the Court of Appeal and therefore contemptuous of the Court of Appeal and an obvious disrespect to the rule of law and the rule to respect an independent arbiter of the judiciary. It is obvious that the desperate Akuffo Addo government, the Attorney General Office and the Police Administration are acting in bad faith to get an unfair advantage in Parliament for the Nana Akuffo Addo Bawumia government in its unbridled quest to pass the unpopular, insensitive Elevy, which remains a major disincentive to the development of our digital economy and an apparent disregard for their own quest for a cash-light economy. We don't want to believe, neither do we want to accept, that they want to use the courts to tilt the balance of power. What the people of Ghana decided in December 2020 was to vote for a balanced hung parliament. Obnoxious, insensitive Elevy before parliament passed, having failed in many respects to get the Lot Elevy in the wake of popular national resistance led by the NDC gallant MPs of 137, the Nana Addo Dankwa government has now resorted to very crude and for all intents and purposes democratically shameful, disgraceful tactics to attempt to reduce, by all means possible, necessary, including foul, to reduce the numbers of the NDC minority of 137, hoping that that will aid their effort to railroad the Elevy into law. What possibly can be described as a sickening display of desperation by a sitting government, which is seeking to push through, as I've indicated, a very undesirable punitive double taxation measure of Elevy down the throat of Ghanaians. And we have maintained our opposition to it and will continue to do so through its second reading until its third reading and passage into law. We will simply not support Elevy. They are now acting through their devious agents, notably Frank Davids, who is now seeking to injunct the Member of Parliament for Asin North, the Honorable James Jackie, from holding himself out as a lawfully elected Member of Parliament for the good people of Asin North. This latest act of desperation, we believe, has the tacit endorsement of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. And this matter of summoning him before a criminal court for prosecution comes at a time an appeal and an application for stay of execution filed against the Cape Coast High Court's annulment of the 2022 Asin North parliamentary election is still pending before the Court of Appeal. And therefore, where is respect for the rule of law? Where is respect for the hierarchical authority of our court structure, in particular the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court? Determines the matter. The Electoral Commission subsequently determined the matter in favor of Honorable James Question after he had adduced sufficient evidence to satisfy the Electoral Commission that he was very much qualified to stand for election, whereupon he was cleared to contest the elections. So these are facts, verifiable facts. In the light of this fact, how can it be properly contended that Honorable James Kwesi criminally used a false declaration? Criminally used a false declaration. A declaration determined by the institution established for that purpose, which made a determination on that matter favorable to him, to deceive the Electoral Commission in order to stand for the said election. Secondly, without prejudice, the issue of whether or not per Article 94(2)(a) of the 1992 Constitution, I believe that is what is before our competent courts, whether Honorable James Kwesi was qualified to stand as an MP, is a question of law, which is pending before the Court of Appeal. And by all standards, it stands next to the Supreme Court in terms of judicial hierarchical authority and mandate. Before the Court of Appeal, KEPCOs, as well as the Supreme Court, in various suits. Also, an application for stay of execution of the KEPCOs High Court's annulment as sin of parliamentary election filed by Honorable Kwesi is still pending before the Court of Appeal. Under the circumstances, the lawful and reasonable thing for the Ghana police, the ruling New Patriotic Party government, and their surrogates to do is to abide by the decision of the Court of Appeal on these processes as their modicum contribution to their respect for the principles of rule of law. Any attempt by the police to prosecute the above desperate machinations are not enough. We believe, upon the instructions of the President and the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Godfrey Dami, the police administration called one of the lawyers who represented Honorable James Kwesi in respect of the Asin North parliamentary election petition, inviting him to make the Honorable Kwesi available for service of a criminal charge on him for prosecution. We all know what is it the 1992 Constitution provides for service to members of Parliament for purpose of civil or criminal proceedings. That also has been ignored and disrespected. Inviting him to make the Honorable Kwesi available for service, as I've indicated, our information indicates that the said charge borders on an allegation that Honorable Kwesi committed a crime by signing a declaration to the Electoral Commission to the effect that he was qualified to stand for election as an MP. It must be placed on record that the legal propriety of the said declaration made by the Honorable James Kwesi was challenged at the time he submitted same to the Electoral Commission, whereupon the Electoral Commission invited Honorable James Kwesi and his detractors for an investigation of the said complaint. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, be interested in what I'm coming to say next. There was a complaint on a matter of his eligibility. The Electoral Commission